Could also be Lucchese or Gambino, or that new boss, that Profaci boss, what's his name? Magliocco. I hear he's ambitious.
I helped bump Magliocco up to be a boss. Been my friend for 20 years.
If you can't clean up this mess, I'll be forced to cut off the connection.
Gotta stick together.
Of course.
Vincent D'Onofrio, thank you so much for joining us on TV Insider to talk about season 2 of Godfather of Harlem. Set in 1964 this year, and you play Chin Gigante, who's a mob boss based on a real person. And your attitude towards your former nemesis, Bumpy Johnson, has really changed this season. You two form a partnership. Why does that partnership work between these two guys?
Well, they're both criminals, for one. And they're both bosses in two different families. Bumpy Johnson pretty much ran Harlem in those days. And the Chin was one of a few, three families that were very powerful, part of three families that were very powerful in Little Italy in Manhattan. So it's sort of like a downtown versus uptown situation. And so, everybody, there's a kind of loyalty amongst thieves, and it eventually had to happen in our show. So, but it gets very complicated. It doesn't, I wouldn't call it smooth sailing or anything. It gets extremely complicated in a very kind of exciting way for the story. Very dramatic stuff.
So what are some of the forces that are working against Chin and Bumpy as we go forward this season? You alluded to them. And of course, there's a lot going on. We have the civil rights movement. We have the FBI. We have a lot of things swirling around. What's working against these two?
Well, the more they try to expand their business, the more dangerous it is. The more Bumpy Johnson tries to take over Manhattan in more ways than the Italian Americans would want him to. He's this small percentage of Italian Americans, because I'm Italian American and we were definitely not gangsters. So there's this small percentage in downtown New York and in and around New York and Staten Island and Bronx and Brooklyn that they want the territory, and he wants the territory. So these two particular people who are the characters in our show, the more they try to expand, the more dangerous it is and the more complicated it gets. So that's really our adversity, ourselves. We get ourselves deeper into trouble because that's what criminals do.
Right. Well, Chin must be feeling some conflict too, because he's been part of this group of families for such a long time. Yeah,
it's true. It's true. It's, I have to say that the way we worked it out, you understand eventually that certain characters have to fail to be able to keep the drama from going like this. So there's ups and there's downs and there's ups and there's downs. If it was just up, it would be less interesting. If it was just down, it would be less interesting. So many things happen. The reason why I bring that up is because it's not that simple really about me double-crossing my family or not trusting them as much. There's things that I can't tell you that happen in the season. You might know that make the drama so intense at times. I mean, honestly, some of the scenes in this season they're just extremely, extremely dramatic and operatic even in the drama. There's so much hate and so much danger. It's really terrific storytelling.
Well, Vincent D'Onofrio, thank you so much for speaking with us about season 2 of Godfather of Harlem on Epix.